All right, we are on to our final day of our Recoded Krieg playthrough. Now, very start, real quick, let's just get patch notes out of the way. There are patch notes. Let's see. Buff Krieg's Bloodlust stacking so it's faster to do. Maya stuff, don't care. Axton stuff, don't care. Hey look, 2-minute turret timer on turret, so you can actually, reuse it. That's nice. Fixed Corpse Bloom's description, it's not supposed to give health. Fixed Hybrid, fixed Hive Mind and Queen Bee working together because they weren't, but now they do. Fixed a couple rarities, nerfed Grand Slam's melee damage, removed health regen off of Vitality Relics, but buffed max health and fight for your lifetime to compensate, buffed Terra's Heathen Contempt with additional health regen, and buffed the Cattail and nerfed Hurley. That is it. That is all the patch notes. Let's just get into what we're actually doing today, which is just a bunch of random testing. Now, I have gone ahead and I have made every cursed hybrid that I could find that I thought would be at least marginally interesting on the Krieg. Let's just look at the first one. This thing is the Soul Render with the Bastion, Kratos, and Maelstrom on it with a Seraph skin. So this thing is 4 weapons and a paint job put together, which the paint job is effectively like Loon Shining, except for the Loon Shine is just more Seraph crystals equals more damage, which I've gone ahead and maxed out our crystals, because why not? Turns out, if you put a bunch of rare equipment together, it adds to its rarity to the point where it flips around and becomes a white rarity. So that happens to a lot of our equipment. A lot of these are either the Loon Shine Seraph skin, or they are a gemstone skin. Whatever was available, preferably Seraph since it gives a bigger buff, but it's what we had. So yeah, this is what we're doing. The salvo only got like one thing. Well, okay, it was originally the Aftershock. Now it's called the salvo because it has a salvo part on it, and that gives it a ton of fire rate and makes it kind of silly. The kneecapper, I got to put a Seraph skin on, so this thing theoretically does more damage. I don't know if that applies to the melee or not, we'll see. And then just like a lot of stuff over here. Proton Flare got a concentration part. It also got the Morai part. Oh my god. Got the just an E-Tech skin or a gemstone skin. Like there's just it's a lot. We'll just get through it all eventually. Um I've only kept 4 class mods on the character. Let's just quickly talk about that a little bit. There's only like 4 ways I see you actually playing this character. We have the Melee God, which is just your general melee class mod. It makes you thick, it makes you hit good, that's all you really need out of it. The TDR Loyalist buffs all of our explosive stuff really, really well, so for explosive specific weapons, I'll use that. For our Atlas Loyalist, which is now broken because of Effervescence, this thing is just general gun, because it buffs well-baked bullets alongside buffing round-tipped explosives, so I figured that that would feel really, really good to use. It also gives movement speed, fire rate, reload, more weapon swap and reload over here on kill skill, so that thing is super duper nice as well. And then I just held on to the Cremator in case we just want to do like super fire stuff, because like that's realistically all that I would use this for. I feel like one of the other class mods probably does fine enough. And then we only have a handful of shields today that I'm really interested in. The Roland gives max health and roid damage. Still a little bit worse than, you know, like a Hide of Terra or Mr. Torg's shield for tankiness or roid stuff, respectively. But we have that. We have a Butterfly for unlisted pellet weapons, for amp damage testing if we want to do that. And then I also found this shield called Frustration, where if it is damaged but not broken, gives you 3 more pellets per shot. Because, you know, why not? Why not just have that be a thing? We have a handful of relics to look at as well. Shaped Glass for melee, Vitality for health, I held on to Wild Bill in case we do anything with pistols, but I doubt it. Edge Runner for movement speed, the T800 for shotguns, and then the Juggernaut for catch-all damage. And then, like, I just have a couple nades. Really nothing super crazy. We have Terra nade, we have Hornet's Nest, we have a Longbow nade for jumping, and a Singularity for crushing. A lot of stuff. Let's actually do something with it. Okay, so the first toy on the block is Soul Render. This thing is really, really stupid. This thing is kind of really fun. It shoots little ghosty boy projectiles. But since we have Maelstrom on it, it has a way faster fire rate. Since we have Bastion on it, we have a chance on reload to get a bunch of health and damage reduction and to like triple the mag size or whatever it is. And then Kratos just occasionally makes it shoot infinitely effectively for the duration of its effect. And then also the Seraph skin, giving it 125% extra damage just all the time. You know, just casually all the time. It does that. I don't think I can roll elements on it. I'm pretty sure I tried to, and it just defaults to shock, even though it displays non-element. But like... Oh, there's Kratos. So, you know, that seems pretty good. To be fair, the odds of you getting this out in the wild, incredibly low, let's be honest. This is a pearlescent weapon. It rolled with the skin, and it rolled with 3 hybrid parts on it. The odds of that surely is insanely low. So, like, yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. But it's cool. So let's go ahead and pit it up against a raid boss. We're already here in Pirate DLC, so why not just come over to Hyperius, see if I can trigger the Bastion effect. See if I can do it better. There we go. And now I'm literally just going to AFK until we get the Kratos effect on top of this, and then I'm just going to dump mag at Hyperius, because, you know, why not? Why wouldn't I do that? Oh, we have the effect. Okay. Hold on. There you go. Okay. But like, yeah, you could roll this with like not even half of these parts and it would still feel really, really good for sure. Like, let me go ahead and just start stripping it of the less useful stuff and just see what we come up with here. So now it is just a uber buffed fire rate version of itself with, I guess, still 125% extra damage from skin, which I guess if you were into game farming, you'd probably want to do that. Yeah, that's not as silly. But like, you know, if you were just using it for mobbing and stuff, like, that'd still work. I definitely think there are better options for bossing. Like, obviously, the kneecapper is right here. Could always just bust this out and then just go for damage instead. So that's always a choice. But yeah, let's take it back into mobbing instead. Okay, yeah. Outside of lighting myself on fire, which let me just find an enemy and just kind of teleport over to them. Yeah, like this is still clearly very, very good at mobbing. I think that of all of the parts that I would want to roll on it for hybrid, Seraph skin for sure. And then it actually looks like the Kratos effect was kind of sick. Like, kind of really, really good. For at least raiding. For normal mobbing, like, this is plenty. This looks... it's kind of insane. But, like, yeah, for, you know, raids, you'd probably want to roll it with that hybrid part. Seems good. Okay, for the next two items, we're just going to test out two of our rocket launchers here. So, what was this called? Celebration? Am I thinking of Terraria? I'm probably thinking of Terraria. That's the stock. Okay, 4th of July. So, close. Still shoots fireworks, so close enough. Both these two rocket launchers can roll with the salvo as their stock, which gives them a pretty good fire rate buff. Probably nerfs damage a bit, but you know, it is what it is. We take what we can get. Let's just see what these feel like. The answer is probably, yeah, pretty good. Not too surprised about that. Let me pull out the 4th of July. This thing is just the, oh my goodness. Yeah, it's the Tunguska, but it has, it's disgusting. It does fireworks. That's all it does. It's just fireworks. It's really cool though. So like, you know, so that's really strong. We could go over to like Terra to test these, I think would be good. With the shield that we have on, we could preemptively hurt ourselves a little bit. Gain an extra 3 projectiles per shot, which I don't actually see them. Maybe they're stacked on top of each other. Let's get a thicker boy to test on. And also to keep this testing somewhat fair in comparison to using our kneecapper, I will also be using our funny little orc with that. I've hybridized the crap out of it to the point where I couldn't remember its name. It has a vector part on it, it has a seraph skin on it, and its card is so long that it just gets rid of Python part notifier at even its smallest setting. So I literally cannot see the original name of the item. I would have to come in here and then, yeah, take it off. And yeah, it's slurred words. So, pretty funny, not gonna lie. And once again, this is like hybrid plus seraph skin, which would be insanely hard to get. Alright, Terra. Fireworks display gone wrong. Pop Buzz actually literally just a lifesteal for a split second. Alright, so that's what that one feels like. How does our other launcher feel? A little bit stronger. We could also enter Fight for Your Life intentionally to get a bunch of extra damage here. Yeah, because we have a Tediore class mod on that buffs explosive consequences, which gives us an extra, like, you know, 500% Fight for Your Life damage for explosives. That's pretty good. Debuffs aren't real. We don't believe in them, and we don't need them, clearly. So, 4th of July, pretty funny. Not as OP as just using the Aftershock. Excuse me while I still have to look at the cards to remember their names because the mod's still kind of new. But like, you know, if you got this one or even this one, honestly, like both are gonna work just fine. You'll be able to just farm dudes either way. These don't need to be hybridized because honestly, if I just go ahead and strip this of that hybrid part, it goes from a 3.3 to a 1.1 fire rate, which is still like, it's fine. And also, honestly, it takes off so much damage that, like, maybe it's kind of not worth it. But it's really funny for the spam. So, for the sake of spamming, I just like it. Proton Flare. This thing is the Proton Flare with the concentration hybrid on it, which makes it way better while zoomed in. I don't actually remember if this had the Morai on it. I know that our Manhattan project does. So I'm assuming it's not, because I imagine that would take over. But this thing should be pretty silly. I'll try to run it with a tanky fire build, maybe with a butterfly on. That might honestly be the move. So yeah, let's try that out. And then I also have the flashover. This thing is effectively just a flamethrower, and it can only really roll with a gemstone skin on it, so it's just kind of itself. Nothing crazy to put on top of this one. There we go. Alright, never mind, that was a little too much. Huh. Okay. Interesting start. Hold on. Maybe the concentration part on it is actually a bad move, considering the fact that it just mag dumps everything immediately. So we might just avoid that. Okay. You know what? That's pretty reasonable. Let's try out our flamethrower. Never mind, let's get bullied by a tentacle that spawned early. Okay, the funny flamethrower might need a little bit of a buff. Okay, yeah, I probably wouldn't try to rely on either of these too much. Proton Flare looks fun. That's the main thing that I like about it, though, is just it does look fun. Kind of hoping that it would amp a little harder, but there you go. We've kind of seen what they do now. And like, yeah, maybe on 0 with Critical Ascension, maybe even on Gauge with Close Enough. Like, this could be really silly on other characters. I just might be the wrong character for the item. So, like, theoretically, could be funny. Could be really, really funny. Let's just keep rolling fire weapons for a second. This is a Gambit with a Tantrum part. It also has, I think, at least one other hybrid on it, and then also Seraph Skin. Ah, yes, it's also hybridized with the Headshotter. Yeah, so the Headshotter seemed to just give extra crit and extra damage. So that kind of looks like about it for this. I say about, but, you know, it's ridiculous. And then, of course, the Heat Beam. The Heat Beam has been incredible the entire playthrough, so gotta try it. Oh, I didn't roll this dove. Oh, it needs 2 dove parts probably to make up for something else, huh? Yeah, there we go. Okay. There we go. Alright, so it's a little loud. Alright, so it's very loud, but that's pretty reliable. Let me try out Gambit a little bit. And also, really don't apply dots to Terra at all because he's a raid boss, so I'm not getting my fire lifesteal. Yeah, Elemental Empathy is like trying its best to lifesteal Heartwarmer in this mod. But yeah, it can't really do that against raids too well. Hold on, I'm swapping off of the amp shield for the shotgun. It's so loud. Throw out a couple nades. Watch the boss turn fire phase, so I can't actually do anything about it. And probably just go ahead and just shoot the boss real quick with a little backup plan. Fair. Okay, yeah, I was kind of goofing around a little bit too much with that. It is what it is. Alright, let's give this another fair shake. I didn't really get to use a Gambit too much in, like, an actual damage phase, so I would kind of like to, even though we saw what it does. It does pretty well. Of course, compared to, like, the absolute uber stacking of saw blades, it's nothing, because nothing will be. But, like, it is what it is. And also, our explosive damage is insane. Our explosive damage is so, so good. I will be testing more explosive stuff on the character, and I have a pistol that we could run with that pistol relic that I'm definitely looking forward to. So that'll probably feel real nice.
I see the color of death. Burn it dry.
What was our Hellborn lifesteal? Yeah, Terra doesn't really care about fire dots. They're not real to him. When one does catch, we do get a decent amount of healing, but like until then, ugh, it's not great. Doesn't feel very, very good. So we're a little reliant on that actually hitting. Or I can just pop Buzz Axe and then use Sanguine for the lifesteal there. That definitely works too. Actually, yeah. Let's go ahead and try out the Quintessence, hybridized with a Bastion, a Kratos, and a Maelstrom, and also a Seraph skin on top. Because, you know, seemingly most of the high-tier assault rifles can just hybridize with, like, everything. So, assault rifle game players rejoice.
I'm the one who reached the stardom. I'm the hero of all.
Let me go ahead and try to get Bastion to proc.
Follow my morality like a lollipop, Bill. I'll run around your mind.
Okay. Alright, so this isn't as silly as I thought it would be. But yeah, Quintessence is the one that fires, like, magic missile shots that deal whatever element of the weapon is. So even the fact that it's, like, quadruple hybrid, and it's not really doing as much as I thought it would, kind of surprising. Let me get a baseline on Terra with the kneecapper, like we used to do, just to see, by comparison, how we feel. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. I just had to make sure that I still knew how much damage we were dealing. Okay. Yeah, so a couple of our other spicy, fiery Krieg options might not be as insane as doing melee or explosive. To be fair, though, the fiery build probably feels really good in mobbing. So let's actually just go play around in mobbing for a little bit. Bully some dudes, see how we feel about that. Hello, sir. Yeah. So against basic boys, this seems a little strong.
Kill you all. Take your pets and your family. Track down your grandparents and turn them in. My flesh is forever.
Also, I'm just now realizing once again how much Krieg actually dialogues in this game. But like, yeah, if you compare this to like a lot of other games where the mobbing is super easy and the bosses usually take like a good minute or two to actually fight, like, yeah, this kind of, it makes sense. It would be wrong to say that like anything really felt bad about it, you know? Like, it just feels fine, feels right. I rolled the Bastion effect. I'm surprised this is not crashing my game. Oh, it deals friendly fire if they explode on you. That makes sense. And also, look at how many orbs. Oh, Kratos procced. I'm gonna let it shoot. I want to see if it crashes. Do your thing. No, it didn't crash, actually. Huh. That's very, very surprising. Alright. Well, there you go. Yeah, fire stuff feels good still. I am somewhat starting to also realize that I don't really have anything that's not explosive. Well, I have a ray gun and a queen bee, but like this is totally these go boom. Um so like very few use cases currently for my Atlas class mod. Probably a little more useful earlier in the game, especially if you had a Myrmidon, which Myrmidon still probably feels pretty good, and I'm kind of beating myself up that I don't have one, so maybe I should get one. But we have the Prism here with a gemstone skin on it because it can't spawn with a Seraph skin. And then we have the Barrage here with a gemstone skin because it can't roll Seraph either. The Prism heals every element type on a single pellet. This was something when proposed was thought to be impossible apparently. When they were looking for help trying to figure out how to even make this exist, they were effectively told like this isn't a thing. You can't really do that. Uh, so that's something. And then the barrage is just a high fire rate torque pistol, realistically. So for both of these, pair them with Wild Bill. Maybe, you know what, throw the ray gun in here too. So yeah, you can kind of just commit tomfoolery a little bit here. Let me find some dudes. Hey, look, dudes. Okay, he doesn't care for corrosive, so that's fair. What about a more basic boy? No. Okay, so we might need some robots for that. The barrage is just a high fire rate torque pistol, so like, yeah, this is fine. I also have a dove part on it, since it is so high fire rate, might as well just, you know, help it. But like, yeah, these feel good. I can tell that this one, at least, is probably not a raid bosser, but like, for catch-all, do everything, for dot application, maybe if like Maya has special stuff for applying multiple dots, like that could be pretty good too. You could just use it as a slag debuffing tool as well if you wanted or needed that. I feel like most builds don't need that in this mod, but like you could do that. So this thing feels fine. And then yeah, I'll just need to go to like Washburn to test out the ray gun properly. So let's go do that. Alright, ray gun, bully him. Maybe I need to roll this not as a masher, or I could just take the dove off of it, honestly. So let's just do both of those. So now I have it rolled with the hand cannon for a bunch of damage but minus fire rate, and then a fire rate thing to try to compensate for the minus damage a little bit. Yeah. Not exceptionally strong, but also not bad. Just kind of fine. Would probably not use this for raiding, but like, funny little hee-hee AoE pistols, kind of fun. Okay. I think, yeah, Barrage is definitely just silly. Next, we're going to try to run the Manhattan Project with a body shotter mod on it, with the Perforator, and then Morai, which I don't know if that is Perforator. I'm pretty sure it's not. Those are separate, I think. And a Seraph skin. So yeah, this is like at least 2 hybrids and a Seraph skin. It should be pretty silly. Like if I zoom in and do this, yeah, it does that really, really fast. The reason I went with putting a single dove part on it is because it consumes like 5 ammo per shot normally, so knocking one off allowed me to shoot it another time without needing to reload. So like, kind of, why not? I don't know. Ah, Perforator is crit boosting. Okay. Okay, I have been advised to not use Body Shotter because it completely negates the bonus crit damage from Perforator. So let's run a crit accessory on it instead. Because why not?
I can't wait
Hello.
to taste your love.
He's not dead. He lost his arms, but like, you know, he can still fight. And then yeah, I do have a Powerpuff hybrid here. I have it with the Double Anarchy and a Seraph skin. I did not put Vector on it because Vector really makes the accuracy super duper bad. So avoided that this time and just made it Double Anarchy. And this thing is also pretty silly. So might need to go test out Manhattan Project and the Barrage against a raid boss. But Powerpuff here is kind of just a silly little just do that to people gun. I don't know if it'll do good against raids. It'll probably do fine, realistically. Like, most things in this mod at least do fine, even here at OP10. I know I am, like, over stacking them with hybrids and making things silly, but realistically, up until this point, with a lot of our gameplay, we have not really used very many hybrids. Like, yeah, I got a couple Power Puffs, because apparently those just have insane drop rates to hybridize, but, like, you don't need it. It's just, like, it's just a little extra icing on top, if you really wanted to, like, be sweaty and min-max and stuff. It's absolutely not a requirement for the playthroughs,
Kill you all. Kill your
but it's a final day of goofing, so I'm doing it. This thing is a little inaccurate. Who cares?
You should be scared. Me?
Oh, hold on, I missed. Oh, hold on, he's gonna kill me. Got him. Okay, what man are we gonna fight? That's the real question. I mean, I feel like it's just Terra or Hyperius are like the two reasonable ones for fighting with explosive, right? Like, I could try to fight dragons, but I don't know how that's gonna turn out. It might be fine, honestly. Let's just do it for science. Okay, what do I even want to run into this fight? I guess Frustration, just for the elemental res. And it still gives max health, so like, that'll be fine. And then, yeah, I just want to see how Barrage and Manhattan Project do. I know that it's a different enemy to test on, and we don't really use dragons too much, so I don't have much of a frame of reference for this, but just something, a little bit of variety.
Melt in my
Now watch as the dragon becomes immune to dots after I shoot him with a gun that applies dots. Yippee. I really make good choices.
striking time.
Okay. So that's not as silly as using the explosive rocket launcher for sure. Noted. But, like, yeah, this works. It's fine enough.
Hurts so good.
Yeah, that would be fine.
Angry. I'm angry.
It's a little on the silly side for sure, don't get me wrong, but like, eh. Yeah. No, that would be fine. And I'm pretty sure that dragons are supposed to have some of the most increased health pools in this mod as well, so it kind of makes sense. Wait, can I give myself the lifesteal permanently on accident? No. Okay, I didn't think so, but, you know, you'd have to test. I just noticed I was getting a severe amount of lifesteal, and I think it was from killing the small little drakes. Whatever the baby dragons are called. But yeah, there you go. Alright, now we do that same fight, but we use the power of blowing dudes up instead. Oh, would you look at that? Our melee feels good. Wait, did I tag somebody else? No, okay.
Screamed in agony as she pushed the knife slowly into my sternum. Such a beautiful symphony of feelings, and in the end of it, she was so
Okay.
much greater.
So, yeah, it turns out we're fine.
Flesh and steel.
I say that as I'm about to perish, but, like, you know what I mean. Like, yeah, it turns out the melee damage is really good, and if you actually respected the enemies, it would be totally fine. Some of the rocket launcher damage feels insane, but maybe stuff like Barrage and Manhattan Project don't keep up as well by late game. So, like, maybe even just looking at these two by comparison to the rocket launchers, because the rocket launchers did fine. Uh, yeah, those that, I mean, maybe would need a buff by comparison, but they still feel great. And then that doesn't leave us with too much else. I just have Ohm, and then I have the Queen Bee, which I do need to give myself a hive to use this properly. But the Ohm should be pretty goofy. I mean, it's just Tesla spawning assault rifle. Alright, so yeah, not too much more testing with the Ohm here, probably. I guess I should put this on, put this on, kinda. Yeah, okay, we're getting more of a fire buff from this, so let's put on the Loyalist, the Atlas one. Because this gives well-baked bullets, and it also gives the gun damage buff kill skill. Eh. Let's go find not an ironclad. Yeah, so definitely not a bossing weapon at all. Got it. But what about the Queen Bee? This thing with the hive should theoretically have infinite ammo, right? Oh, that hurts to look at. Hold on, let me get further away. Weirdly enough. Huh. Well, this is something. And also, yeah, it spawns little projectiles too. But yeah, those singularities, oh my goodness, that bullies like every mob ever. It's so silly. I want to fight a dude with this. Absolutely, I want to fight a dude with this. Hello, sir. What have I done? That hurt. That sucked so much. Literally. But that sucked so much. Alright, final goof of the day. Oh. Huh. Well, it's moving his health bar. Like, it's something. It's progress. Okay, so this might just be the most insane eye-destroying ad-clear weapon you ever use in your life, because it'll just permanently stagger every mob. But it might not be as crazy about raid boss fights. It might not be the move for this. As funny as it looks. Oh, oh, stop. Okay. Yep. I mean, this has its uses. You could pull enemies off of ledges with it. You could just chain stun enemies a crap ton. Um, but that's most of it. And also, I didn't really test out Tediors too much today, or like use our Dalnade too much. And I feel like it's largely just because the Tediors, I like they feel fine, but I don't think they're the strongest thing we have. Let me get out like one that I thought felt good, and then we'll see if we can like really tune it up and make it kind of silly. Alright, so the Solar Slugger here. Let's just see what this can run with. I think that I just am obligated to put multiple pellets on it, realistically, because more pellets equals more throw damage. So that's probably what we'll do. That's gonna hurt. I'm dead, by the way. I didn't die. Well, there we go. Huh. Does this thing hurt him more if I just shoot it? Kinda looks like it. Hold on. Oh, it definitely just does more damage if you shoot the thing.
Pitiful people, prepare! Bleed plentifully, plentiful platitudes! Phenomenal patriot pounds, poundingly perverse puppets! Pulping, pleasantly putrid pasties!
Yeah, it does alright. Okay. I just figured I'd at least test one Tedior, just in case, but I kind of have to assume that as a family, probably not going to be as insane as just using melee, literally, the kneecapper, apparently, or using just, well, two rocket launchers, because apparently those two rocket launchers are either overtuned or everything else is slightly undertuned by comparison. But yeah, overall, very, very fun playthrough. We will be starting a Maya next. Like, immediately after this, there will be one day of something else, don't worry about it. But there will be Maya. Just plenty of Maya to play. Apparently she has a melee skill tree. Apparently she has like a normal one, and then one that's a little more team-oriented, but still provides buffs to Maya, so maybe dip into that for a couple things. I don't know too much about it as I haven't actually looked at it outside of what I've heard people vaguely describe it as. And yeah, this has been a really fun mod. I do actually appreciate the fact that this mod gives you such freedom of movement at the end of the game. Like, yeah, this is probably too much, but like you're OP 8 to OP 10, you know, you probably are far enough in the game and like whatever. You should basically be able to play creative mode at this point. Obviously, like we still have to kind of try for damage. Kneecapper might still be a little stronger than a lot of other options, especially for melee characters specifically. Well, paired with the orc especially. But like, you know, it's not like instantly zapping dudes at OP10. Of course, if things get buffed further to make them actually like feel better, things like normal and TVHM are just going to become even harder rolls, which it sounds like the mod dev is okay with them becoming rolls because UVHM is where a lot of the fun is for the mod, and there are level 50 boosted characters, so if you don't like that feeling, you could just instantly snap to 50 and then just start rolling from there. So, absolutely very fun. I do like it a lot. And that'll do it for this Krieg. Day 8.